Well, all right, there is no prediction time this week because, well, the 49ers aren't playing a game, so I predict they won't lose. However, we're going to go through the rest of the picks real quick here, just talk about what we see going on in the league. I'm going to start with Buffalo going to New York. Now, the Bills have got a hell of a running game. The Jets have got a hell of a defense. The Jets have been reeling a little bit. And the Bills with Tyrod Taylor look like an effective football team. That kid's the real deal. Jets are favored by 2.5, and man, I don't know. I think Sexy Rexy gets it done. Give me the Bills in the upset. Next up, you've got Detroit, maybe the worst team in the NFL, going to Lambeau Field. Green Bay's favored by 11.5. I don't buy Green Bay winning by 12 points. I can't see it. They just haven't been consistent. Their defense is really good. Their offense is really good. But man, oh man, they're not blowing anybody out. So even though Detroit is awful, I don't think they're going to lose by 11 points. Next up, we have got Dallas going to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's favored by 1.5. Dallas is awful, and I'll root against them forever because Greg Hardy is the biggest douchebag in the history of forever. And I hope he accidentally slips and falls on a chainsaw while it's running. That's right, Greg. Fuck you. Sideways. Now, back to our scheduled program. All right, we have got the Chicago Bears headed to St. Louis. St. Louis is favored by 7.5. The Rams are the real deal. The defense is awesome. Todd Gurley is no joke. The quarterback play, yeah, I'm not really big on Foles, but it really doesn't matter. I think that the Rams are going to take care of business against Chicago. I think they're going to do it by at least 10 points. Give me the Rams. Okay, Carolina going to Tennessee. Carolina's undefeated. Cam is looking like the real deal. He may not be there statistically, but boy, howdy, does that guy know how to win football games. And Carolina can run the football and play defense. I think Carolina wins this one. They're favored by 5.5. I cannot see the home dog pulling this one out. Give me Carolina. I think they win by a touchdown. Okay, next up. New Orleans is going to Washington. They're only favored by 1 point. Washington's a pretty terrible football team, and Drew Brees is finding new people to throw for 300 yards to. He may not have Kyrie Robinson, but he's still got Mark Ingram. Give me Brees, give me Ingram, give them to me all day long against Washington. I think that one's going to be a beatdown. All right, we've got Miami going to Philadelphia. Philadelphia is favored by 6.5 and quietly is beginning to play decent football. Even though their quarterback is marginal, the defense is showing up, the running game is there, and the Chip Kelly Chuck and Duck project is chugging along. I think that the Eagles are going to beat the Dolphins, and I think they're going to do it by a touchdown, especially at home. Okay, next up, we've got Cleveland going to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's only favored by 4.5. It's the Landry Jones show. Landry Jones. When you don't have Ben Roethlisberger, that's who you trot out there. No Big Ben, no Le'Veon Bell. Cleveland is fading. And I think that Pittsburgh's defense has enough juice in them to shut down a marginal Browns offense. So go ahead and give me Pittsburgh, and I'll take Pittsburgh with the points, 4.5. I think they win this one by TD. All right, we have got Minnesota headed to Oakland. The Raiders are favored by 3. And this is a matchup I want to get into pretty deep. There are a lot of people who are going to be pissed at me for not picking the Raiders, especially at home. I have a reason for it. Last week, D'Angelo Williams rushed for about 25 miles against the Raider defense because the Raider defense is awful, with a capital awful. They are terrible. They leak like a sieve. They can't stop anybody. Now, they've got AP coming to town, and if there's one thing Minnesota does, it's run with AP all day. I don't see any way that the Raiders are going to be able to stop Adrian Peterson. I don't see any way that they're going to exit this game with a win. And if they do, it's not going to be by a field goal. Maybe they eke this one out by a point. Give me Minnesota with the upset. Next up, we have got Kansas City going to Denver. Kansas City, team of the non-existent offense, going to Denver, home of the best defense in football. This one's going to get ugly. I think Denver wins this one by at least a touchdown. Next up, oh, and by the way, just a little footnote there on the Denver game. So, Vernon, I understand that the 49ers were holding you back, and I'm just hoping that maybe they were just holding you back in absentia last week when you dropped the only target that you had in Denver, you freaking prima donna. Perhaps you should retire and run a fucking Jamba Juice. Or just think about maybe talking shit after you have a good game with your new team. Pro tip there, buddy. All right, next up, we have got New England going to New York. They're playing the Giants. New England's only favored by a touchdown. Don't understand how this is going to work. I really, really don't. Give me Tommy Terrific and give me a Patriot victory. This one's going to come in double digits. I think that they cover pretty easily. All right, Arizona going to Seattle, and what I think is going to be the game of the week. Arizona is a really quality team. They're making up for the fact that they haven't been getting exactly lights-out quarterback play from the Ginger. It really doesn't matter. They've been running the ball effectively, playing very, very clean defense. I get the distinct impression that Arizona could go up there and punch Seattle in the mouth. That one's going to be a fun one to watch. Kind of a bloodbath. I think it's maybe a little bit of a slugfest going on. Certainly not going to be a passing bonanza. But at the end of the day, I think Arizona pulls it out. I don't know if Seattle has the juice to beat these guys. All right, finally, our Monday night matchup. J.J. Watt and friends, the Houston Texans, are going to Cincinnati. And I say going to Cincinnati because I don't want to say they're going there to play football. Houston doesn't always play football. Sometimes J.J. Watt has a big game. Sometimes he doesn't. Cincinnati is loaded. They're one of the best teams in the AFC, and I think that this one's going to get ugly early, especially because it's in Cincinnati. Cincinnati's going to win this one. They're favored by 10.5. They may win this one by 2 scores. I'm taking Cincinnati in the points. Those are our picks for the week. This is AJ Bellino for Upon Further Review. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next week.